Rautes, the last nomads of Nepal. Nepal, a small country, proves itself to be a beautiful garden where colorful ethnic flowers bloom together in the presence of harmony, peace, and cooperation. The ethnic groups living here possess their own distinct identities and social life. In spite of the legislation made by the government through different constitutional provisions, all people are not equally brought into the mainstream of state affairs. Some of them are still isolated to some extent. The Rautes are one of the most typical indigenous groups of Nepal, sustaining their unique cultural identities for generations. They are the only nomadic people in the country who never settle permanently in any particular place. The Rautes deny any idea on permanent settlement, education, or agriculture. It is estimated that the total population of Rautes in Nepal is about 180, or roughly 52 families. The Midwestern region of Nepal remains their only sanctuary. Rautes are still living preliminary life. They have been sustaining their unique cultural identities for years. They bear traditional knowledge of living in a community. The heredity of Rautes is categorized into three types as Kalyal, Raskoti, and Samal. Their language is currently classified as Tibeto-Burman. The Rautes have been quite successful in sustaining tradition. Humanity has to learn a lot from them since they have been very successful in preserving the age-long tradition in today's materialistic world. The Rautes do not permanently live in a particular place for a long time. They generally live from 1 week to 1 month in a place and leave for the next. They establish temporary residence inside or near the forest. They are so sensitive to themselves about the disaster that might come. If any one of the members faces the fatal consequence, they immediately move to the next place. Undoubtedly, they are Nepalese. They consider themselves as the inhabitant of jungle. They are worried about the growing deforestation here. Obviously, clearing out a forest has not only reduced their residents but also their food. With the destruction of forests, the number of monkeys, all the edible herbs and wild fruits is vanishing day by day. It is also one of the reasons for the more complicated lives these days. We call they are uncivilized. It is because they still are nomadic junglemen. However, they seem to be sensitive about themselves. They have a Mukhya. He is the chief of the nomadic group of people. He addresses other Rautes as his Praja subjects. This makes us easily speculate that he is the king of Rautes. He acts as the decision maker and the most authoritative person. He is a responsible person for the group. Everyone of this group is obedient to him. Nowadays, Rautes are not quite excluded from modernization and present state of affairs. They have made a visit to Prime Minister of the country and other notable figures in Nepalese politics, along with other high-ranked persons of different authorities, so as to make them aware about the growing problems in their jungle life. Despite their request to the government of Nepal, they are still bound to live a wandering life. Taking needs and problems of Rautes into consideration, the government has been providing them with allowance. Moreover, they have started to make a frequent visit to capital and other developed cities, especially before festivals. The Mukhya generally leads them to these places. They are known specially for their hunting of macaque monkeys for subsistence. They also gather wild forest tubers, fruits, and greens on a regular basis. They normally do no gardening, farming, or work for others as tenants or wage laborers, but they do not wander in the city in search of lucrative jobs. To obtain grain, iron, cloth, and jewelry, they sell their handmade wooden balls and boxes to local farmers. They do not sell other forest products, bushmeat, or forest medicinal plants. These are special products of Rautes. They don't use any kind of modern tools but only apply the traditional instruments like long and short-handled axes, large and small adzes, and long chisel as primary tools in order to make these goods.